Hey guys, welcome to a very special audio commentary for the Endurance Tournament, and I've got Last Shadow slash Demonologist alongside, and this is going to be his match. He's going to be starting in the bottom left-hand corner as the yellow Protoss, bottom right-hand corner. We have only CW as Protoss as well on, I believe this is Big Game Hunters, doing quick map reveals so you can kind of give the overall mini-map. Special thanks, yeah, welcome alongside. It's good to have you alongside for this commentary.
Thanks a lot, Diggity. I'm really happy to be helping out with this and hopefully helping StarCraft 2 GG with any commentaries or first-person VODs in the future. But here we have a PvP on Big Game Hunters between Demonologist, which is me, and only CW. And basically what this map is it's generally a very large map with naturals being relatively far away from the main, and sometimes very hard to defend depending on positions, such as the 11 o'clock and the 12 o'clock positions share a natural. And since it is PvP, but I actually remember I went random, the Protoss that is white in this game is actually in the dark. And generally, when you're in the dark on Big Game Hunters, because of its very hard place to wall, you can actually two-gate the majority of the time, which is relatively standard on Big Game Hunters. And because of the amount of mass minerals, it's relatively viable. I was opting for a one-gate tech, hoping that I could play the map size to my advantage, and I was hoping that he wouldn't be near me on the first try, because I had saw some of his games, and I noticed that he would go two-gate, and I have seen some VODs before of pro gamers, you know, going two-gate on this map, so that's mainly what I was hoping in the early game, and I think he was just hoping that his two-gate could catch me off guard, hoping that I was maybe Terran or Zerg.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it looks like you went for the two-gate option, hoping for Terran and Zerg. Unfortunately, looks like your Protoss. In PvP, do you feel like there's one spawn point that's less favorable than another? I know specifically when you're going up against a Terran, there's certain spawn points that are less favorable just because of the drop edges. Do you feel like that's true for Protoss as well, and specifically a mirror matchup?
I think specifically in mirror matchup that it's always better to have a position that's on top. Fighting up a screen is actually somewhat of a disadvantage, because High Templars, you know, you're trying to micro, you're trying to fight, and you have to look at the lower part of the screen to fight upwards, and where that can be set is the same, you know, everyone shares the same screen. It's just much easier to fight downward than it is upward, and I think that actually can give a disadvantage to Protoss players.
Do you think, and do you feel like BGH is kind of because of the more the larger mineral supplies and just kind of the larger mineral pool in general, the two gas? Do you feel like it throws off your macro a little bit? Does it kind of disturb the way you would play because you're just more accustomed to playing the standard game? Seeing a couple zealots, looks like three zealots gathered up. Man, he got a really bad scout off. It looks like he scouted you almost last. It's basically the worst scout you could have gotten. It's a little bit of bad luck in that regard. But do you feel like it just throws you off, or do you feel like you have the ratios down pretty well, where you know what tech you can do, what tech you can support, or have you just played this a lot where you've got that down pat basically?
To be completely honest, actually, you know, maybe a year or two ago when I had just started playing competitively, I would have thought, oh, Big Game Hunters, you know, I get more minerals, this is easier. But honestly, going into this game, I was a little scared because I actually don't know the mechanics to the map. I don't know the build orders. I actually had no idea what I was supposed to do, and I was going to just completely rely off my micro and my macro to carry me. But I mean, in the back of my mind, I was like, but he never runs out of minerals. So basically my goal was I was going to go for an all-in type of Dragoon strategy with Reaver to trying to just exercise my superior mechanics, hopefully against this player. And I mean, I really was in the dark in this game. So yeah, the map did play a heavy part.
Wow. So he's got, it looks like he's got a bunch of zealots marching out to your front door right now. Fortunately for you, it doesn't look like he's going to line them up for, it's just going to do the standard zealot march. We'll see if he lines them up to do a little bit more of an organized attack momentarily. That probe coming out, you're going to see this coming. You've got 4 Dragoons to engage that. It looks like a lot of room to back out, but it's going to be a while before your second Dragoon out. When this attack came in, did you feel like a minute like you were going to breach, or do you feel like with just the 4 Dragoons you were set to really fight this off?
I was actually really scared. I figured if he had just sent, you know, 5 out of those 7 Zealots to attack my Dragoons, and then another 2 to my minerals, that he was going to set me really far behind. And when I sent that probe out and I saw them, I figured, oh, I can fight this off. But then I noticed my range wasn't even near done. In Dragoons, when they don't have range, they shoot what would seem to be slower, and it's much harder to micro them even against Zealots. Sometimes it's cost players games where they go Dragoon versus Zealot.
So do you feel? So it looks like you got about, I would say, 3 or 4 probe kills, but the cost in zealots, that was about 7 zealots for that. Not a very successful harass, in my opinion, just economically, losing all 7 zealots, basically his entire army at this stage. You have total map control. At this stage, were you thinking, let me just go pummel him? And it looks like he also put down additional gateways. So this is a bad, actually, moment for him, in my opinion, to put down some additional gateways. He's also trying to get range right now, but you're starting to bear down, actually, with a much superior force.
Yeah, I mean, I knew, I only had one chance that I could take to try to, execute a counterattack. I actually lost about 7 probes because I was counting at the same time as I was microing. I wanted to know
Huh.
my disadvantage. But I think he did the incorrect play. I don't think he should have tried to match me in Dragoons because I can play the range advantage. I think he should have just went for a 3 gateway Dragoon with a forge and gotten about 3 cannons. I mean, that would have halted me, gave him a superior advantage, and then he can just play the advantage straight through. But because of my range advantage, uh, it actually let me bust him open and continue.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm not sure if he calculated. I'm not sure if he's a standard BGH player either, but the fact is off that forge you can hold out because you do have that 2 gas, you do have a lot of minerals on your front door, and it looks like you've got already 5 Dragoons in his base, and it's a while before his additional Dragoons coming out. You've taken a huge advantage in this map, and it looks like he actually also tried to put down a robotics facility in the back of his base. So he was trying to do everything at once, it seemed like here, trying to get additional gateways, a robotics facility, and hold you off simultaneously right now, pulling probes off the line to try to fight off your Dragoons, but it looks like you have this game well in hand at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I don't understand why he would have gone robotics facility. He saw my base. He saw I had 2 gateways. So I was on 1 gas. He saw I had pylons spread out. It's not like I was hiding anything. I don't necessarily know why he teched to robotics. I mean, that could have been an additional almost 2 gateways. That could have been 2 zealots, maybe a faster range. So I think that was a misplay on his part.
All right. So cleaning up all the probes coming off the line at this stage, cleaning up the Dragoons right as they're coming out the gate. It looks like a couple of them actually popping up full around, and honestly, at this stage, this is a bad situation for probes. I like that one with the gas because it's just like, screw it, I've got gas, I can still attack at the same time. Brave little probe. But after this, just going to GG, and I think this went to a second game, which I won't spoil the results of because, yeah, I might end up doing it right after this. I'll see what replay we can actually grab to do a commentary on immediately after this. But victory for you. Special thanks for participating, by the way, and once again, special thanks for joining me for this dual commentary. It's really nice having the actual players in the match.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, that went really well. Hold on, let me stop the audio and export it.